An important part about any conversation involves two people. Anyways, any conversation involves two people. Think about it. Whether you're on the personal setup, it's always one person communicating with the other. When you are on stage, it is always the speaker communicating with one audience. It's not everyone as a whole, it's always one person. At the same time, in the audience, there are different individuals, but you are supposed to have a conversation with each of them. And yet, how often have you experienced that you're not enjoying the conversation? You're not enjoying the speaker, you're not enjoying the presenter, to some extent, where even on personal level conversations also, you're not enjoying it. Welcome to episode number 12, where we are going to decode the secret sauce that we have never ever been taught before, and that is the art of listening. Every single time a conversation happens, if you've observed any of the public speaking courses or training programs, communication skills, soft skills training program, they always talk about speaking, speaking, and speaking. Over the last couple of years, having given countless of speeches across Toastmasters or even TEDx, or even having these many interactions all across the corporate setup, I've come to realize that the greatest speakers are not the ones who speak more, rather the ones who listen more. Let me give you a very, very simple example to begin with. I've always wanted my own credit card, which will have my own name in it. Fortunately, I have a MasterCard. If it's possible, I'll probably show you if I can get my purse, maybe. So the credit card offers me lounge access in the airport. Lounge is a place where you can swipe your credit card for just 1 or 2 rupees, and you can enjoy the entire experience of the hospitality in the airport. So I always used to look, but didn't really feel that good because I never had a credit card to be able to go and really get the entire thing. Ah, there you go. I just got the purse, and this is how it looks like. Okay, so my purse, I always have my cards all stashed properly, and this is how my credit card looks like. Okay, it's really I consider this as a huge asset. And anyways, I love collecting a lot of cards. So in one of the lounges recent in my recent visit, I saw a person, and I felt I've seen this person before. Oh, wait. He's a great singer. I'm not able to remember his name. Oh, wait, now I remembered. Yes, he's sung so many amazing songs, and I've grown up listening to him. He was walking out very, very fast. I rushed to him. I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Mohit Chauhan?" Yes. The person who sang songs like Masak Kali, Ur Matak Kali, or even songs like Sadda Hak, Yathe Rak. No, crazy. He's got a crazy artillery of songs. For the next 2 to 3 minutes, I was just spellbound and expressing myself, how grateful I was for his music, how in our house we all follow him. And he was just standing there listening. He asked me 1 or 2 questions. Where are you from? What do you do? And I told him. After he left, after I clicked that selfie and I wished him farewell and all, that's what struck me. Wow, I had such a great time. But then in retrospection, right now when I'm sharing the story, why do you think that meeting was so memorable? Was it because he spoke? Or was it because he just listened to me and he asked? You look at all the greatest superstars across the world, people like Tom Cruise, Shah Rukh Khan, again, any superstar for that matter, they always give you the space to share by asking you stuff, and they listen. Today's episode, we're going to decode the entire system that the greatest communicators use, the secret sauce that makes them unique. It's not just about those episodes. As we guide through the whole episode today, I will walk you through the elements of how I did it, and how every single time my close friend, family member, my parents, Yogeshwari, my dearest friends have literally asked me this. So, Sudeep, how are you this good at communication? How are you this good at handling personal conversations, in even difficult conversations? Can you teach that to me? Now, the moment when the world, your near and dear ones are asking you about this, you know that you're doing something right. So it's all about structuring it all together and giving it to you so that you can also use it at your fingertips. Let's get started. I have in front of me Clara, who has helped me with the little bit of the mind map of it, because I was finding it a little difficult. From one day to another within 24 hours, less than 24 hours, you have to prepare for an entire 45-minute presentation. It gets slightly difficult, and that's where AI always comes in and helps you out. So, great communication never happens the moment you speak. And the worst part is, in most of our scenarios, at least that's what I've observed, people are waiting to speak, waiting. Guess what? It never works, because you have to understand that communication begins when you listen. Every single time you listen, it's actually participatory silence. So there are two very important aspects to it. One is whether you are listening just for the sake of listening, and that is not called listening, that's called hearing, or you are listening to process, to understand, to really be present in the conversation. What does listening actually mean? When my mom calls me up, my dad calls me up, I know for sure that I talk to them around, maybe I am always in touch with them over WhatsApp, but I speak to them over phone maybe once in a week. And that's because they'll have enough material to share with me. So I know that 1.5 hours is gone. They will share everything that has happened over a period of time. And I'm just there listening with 4 words. Acha, okay, got it. Again, the Bengali translation of it. But it's not that I'm using these words as a monotony. I'm also absorbing every single thing that they are listening. And the secret that I apply is I listen to ask, to inquire. The best way the person you're speaking to, they will understand whether you're listening or not, is when you are able to ask a very open-ended, curious question that elaborates the conversation, that extends the conversation. Now, when you do that, you realize that it's not just that you're listening to someone, you're actually listening to understand the words and the feeling behind those words. And when you are listening, not just for the words, but the feelings, people will immediately understand and connect with your intention that you are really there for them. Now, that also means that there are some personal related stuff, there are some professional related stuff. At times, there are some vulnerabilities also that happens. But you being there, just listening, automatically creates that space. So there are 3 levels of listening. The first is called as hearing. What is hearing? When the voice just goes through your ear. That's it. The second thing is understanding. That's the second layer. Understanding is when you are decoding the entire conversation inside your mind. You're processing whatever that is going on, and that's called as the mental listening. The first one is a physical listening, and then the third, something that I feel that I try to practice in with each conversation, and that's called as empathizing, which means you are putting yourself in the other person's shoe and you are feeling what they are feeling. Now, is it possible at all times? Maybe not. For example, when any of my female colleagues or any females that I know of, whether it's my friends, family, colleagues, anyone, and they're telling me that, Suryadeep, I'm going through my periods, day 1 or day 2, I am not exactly able to feel their pain exactly as it is. But the most I can do is I can try to replicate and relate to it. Okay, what if there was maybe 5, 6 people hammering down my lower abdomen, how would that make me feel? Oh my God, it would be horrible. Okay, imagine feeling that for the next 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, while you have to travel to places, do your chores, finish your work, take all the responsibilities. If people come in with more problems, you have to get that solved as well, while this hammering continues. Just thinking about it itself gives me goosebumps. I salute to all the women. I have no idea how you all manage to do it. And I really empathize. And the best part is, probably there's this sixth sense in me where I kind of get to understand whether women are going through their periods or not. It's one of the things that I'm intuitive about. I don't know. But the point is, I've just taken one simple example. But to be able to be in their shoes and understand, that's when you will know how to ask better questions, and you turn any emotionality into a logical solution just because you empathized and you listened properly. It's easier said than done, takes a lot of practice. The best way to help you understand is, think of listening just like a Wi-Fi, which means if the signal is weak, then the connection breaks if you're not listening properly. But at the end, and even if you consider your bandwidth to be narrow, you'll only get half the message. Okay. So, all right. Having understood the fundamentals of listening, let me walk you through step by step what are the common mistakes that I observed so far from people. And I don't necessarily give feedback honestly until unless people are asking. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. I've just been blessed with some water just because I'm coughing. Just, it's always okay to take a break. It doesn't really matter whether you're live or you're recording and all. And mind you, this entire part is not even going to be chopped, because I want you to know that every time you speak, these problems will come up, and it's okay. Coming back, there were certain conversations where I didn't really feel the connect. Never. The first is called as the I already know trap. There's this colleague of mine. Whenever we try to talk about any of our perspectives, what happens is, uh, he is always in a tendency. I think I've spoken about him previously also. He's always in a tendency to stop you, whatever it is that you're sharing, and then share his point with the whole ideology of, oh, I already know this. I've already seen enough. And this is what I believe, and you have to believe it too. Now, if this happens once or twice or thrice, do you seriously feel like talking to that person ever again? I at least don't. And I think I've shared this with you. The the rule of three. The rule of three says, this is my personal rules, okay? If someone repeats the same thing thrice, which means it's a pattern. And patterns can be good patterns and bad patterns. His pattern is, he has this habit of interrupting, putting in his point, the attitude of, I know everything, I know it all, and that's it. What happens there is, and by the way, if you also follow this, it's time to become a little aware. That's when you're not exactly listening. You're just waiting to speak, and you're waiting to prove your point. And you don't realize that when you prove your point, there's a humongous possibility that you're going to completely offend the other person. Maybe they'll not say it if they're kind enough, but it is what it is. So every single time when I used to follow this, because I'm also been a pretty much uh, an accuser of the same thing, what I would do is, in each conversation, I repeatedly keep asking myself in my mind, what can I learn from this conversation that I already don't know? What's something new that I can learn? The moment you set the context inside your mind, even before you kickstart listening, you will 110% be present. The second common mistake is the fix it trap. And this majorly happens with our loved ones, with our spouses, maybe our parents, people who genuinely care for us. Even before you're talking to them, they always jump in to give the solution. Now, They just want to help you. They just want to fix things. And that is important. So I usually follow this with Yogeshwari. Started following this with my mom specifically. I know there are episodes when I was sharing something vulnerable with Yogeshwari, and she ended up trying to help me fix it. But then I kind of snapped out from the conversation. I cut the call. I didn't engage in the conversation at all, moved away, didn't speak for a few days. And that's because when someone is vulnerable and they are sharing their personal stuff with you, they are first of all being vulnerable. Think about it. They're talking about the mistake that they've committed. They're talking about the blunder they've already done, and now they're just venting it out to you or sharing it with you. What they're looking for is for you to create that safe space, for you to understand them first. Whether you understand or not, at least empathize and feel. So the process that I saw Yogeshwari following, and then I learned it from her, and then I started implementing it with her and also with all my friends and family and colleagues. I did this with one of my colleagues in my workplace as well. I just listened, not to fix, but just to understand. The objective was not to give any solution, rather to create a space. And when someone is in that zone, if you observe two women talking, two female friends talking to each other, you will see that they are masters of yes or no questions. Something that Yogeshwari and I have discussed in one of our podcast episode. Do check it out. Probably I'll share the link somewhere below. Women are always asking, let's just say, I'm just creating a hypothetical scenario. I've seen this happen. So, okay, let me take that scenario itself. Uh, my ex girlfriend, okay, she had a friend in her hostel. So she was like, she called me up and she's like, can we go for a small little date? One of my hostel mates are not feeling too good. And I feel if she spends time with us, it's going to be good. I said, of course, why not? So we went to this mall and we were having some burgers, along with that, some mojito. Doesn't matter. Focus on the feelings, not the pronunciations. So we were having our mojito and they were conversing. I was just observing. Babe, don't you think that he really didn't love you that much? And the other girl was crying. Yeah, you're right. He really didn't love me. So don't you think that you should just forget him? Why are you letting him stay in your head? Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. No. But what to do? I'm not able to forget him. Babe, listen, I know. But we also know that you're chill, right? You're strong, right? I mean, you've moved mountains literally. Yeah. Why should I cry about someone who doesn't even care about me? Now, I was observing this conversation. I saw the emotions shift between both the women. And when two women team up, when two females team up as friends, they can literally move mountains. I saw that happen to such an extent where both of them teamed up against me. You know, men are like this. See, right now I am crying and you are helping me. This guy is busy eating his burger and mojito. Hey, what did I do? I don't even know what happened. And then my ex started telling me, huh, you don't even have the basic decency and courtesy to at least listen. I said, I am listening with my ears and eating my burger. Huh, you should have the courtesy, no? You should eat with us, no? So they barged upon me. You saw how the conversation just drifted and moved. Because of this whole aspect, she was asking questions to her friend. And at a vulnerable situation, it's easier to answer questions because they are vulnerable enough to not ask themselves those questions. So you help them by asking more questions, questions that will move them towards the clarity. It could be yes or no questions. It could be open-ended questions. Open-ended questions goes deeper and helps them break through the emotional barrier and find the truth. Yes or no questions nudges them towards doing what they know they should ideally do. So you're not giving them solutions. Rather, you're creating the space and just asking questions. That is the supreme power of active listening, and then communicating for the other person, not for yourself. Even if you start giving solutions, they're only going to consider that you're the enemy. And it always happens. It happened with me, with my parents, with my relationships, all the time. The third problem, it's called as the performance trap. Every single time I was asked to speak for a Toastmaster speech or any of the videos, I always used to take a deep breath in. Have you ever thought that you want to learn communication, but you never really know where to start? Hi, my name is Dr. Sridhar Mazumdar, and today we are going to be diving deep into the art of listening. And I'm going to be guiding you through every step in the way, every single thing you need to do in order to become a phenomenal listener. Now, notice how you felt while I did that, and what you are feeling right now. This was a humongous problem that I faced. And I was told this by countless people. Initially, I didn't take it as feedback because I thought, well, I'm just being me. I'm just trying to perform at the highest level. I'm just trying to be Tony Robbins. I'm really bringing in all the energy, because I always used to believe that teachers are boring, professors are boring. They make us sleep even though we're suffering from insomnia. So whenever I speak, I need to pump up so much of energy that people are literally shaken up. I did try that until the point when I started losing speech contests, when I did not go beyond the division level of international uh, speech contest, when I was not, when I lost, even though my speech was far better. That's when Yogeshwari sat down with me and she helped me break things down in elements like, is this how you speak with that person if they meet you for the first time? And the answer is no. Would I speak like this? Oh, yes. You will always see me speaking exactly in the same animated manner, energetic manner. If you feel that I'm energetic, thank you so much. This is what I am in my real life as well. But when I see myself as a speaker performing on stage versus a speaker who's just conversing or communicating, I already know the enormous amount of work I had to do to cut down that energy. Because at the end, there are going to be moments when energy is not going to help. Imagine you are calling me up and telling me, Suryadeep, I have something important to share. I lost my job. They fired me. And I'm on the other hand going, that's okay, no issues. You are going to crush this. I know that. What's going to happen to you? You will probably fall off or dust off, isn't it? Or will you ever consider talking to me or sharing anything about me? No, right? And that's when I know I have to bring my tonality down, matching yours. See, at times, I'll tell you, I thought about conducting a complete in detail masterclass on vocal variety or tonality or body language. But what I feel is all these things have become an unconscious competence, which means I only don't know when I am following all these techniques and methods. So even if I want to train, maybe on a scene to scene, that's why you'll see I'll use a lot of stories, practical real life stories, and using that as an example. When I teach that, it's very difficult to reverse engineer the steps and tell you how to do it. So all these topics, you will be able to find this from Yogeshwari. And it's always best to go and check her profile out as well. She's the one who is taking these 20 minutes time out to focus and teach you one specific method related to all this, and she's too good at it. Me, on the other hand, I'm more about how you are feeling, your intentions, your emotions, because everything starts from there. Only then the techniques and methods make sense. So the best way to protect yourself from the performance trap is to become aware of how you are when nobody is watching you, how you are when you're just talking to your friends and family, and just maintain that. The last problem, the common mistake, this is a huge one, and I learned this from Simon Sinek. Imagine I'm talking to you like this. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about active listening, and I'm going to be sharing some amazing stuff with you all. And also at the same time, you will be learning so many amazing things. The best part is you will also know, oh, wow. You'll also learn how to listen because at the end of the day, you listen with your ears, right? Now, the last couple of seconds that I did this, can you just write down below how did that make you feel? Honestly, how did that make you feel? Hurt, humiliated, insulted, disrespected? Maybe not to that full-fledged extent on a scale of 0 to 100. Maybe you didn't feel a 99 or 97, but you must have felt at least a 38. Or if your ego is slightly on the higher end and you get offended easily, maybe a 67 or a 78. Now, I know for sure I'm always self-aware in terms of my ego, at least, because it's something that has put me in trouble a lot of times. When I see people talking to me with their phones on, my ego immediately takes a hit because when they speak, I put in the efforts of putting my phone completely aside and talking to them, listening to them, actively looking it dead into their eyes with a smile. So when I don't get that reciprocated, it really pisses me off. So what do? I just tell them that is it okay if you can put your phone aside and talk to me, or we can continue this conversation later. This is not I'm not feeling so good about this conversation. At the end of the day, listening is not just about being next to that person. It's about being having that proximity. Proximity only happens when you shut everything aside and you go all guns blazing on sharing. Yeah. So now that we've understood the common mistakes, let's understand the listening frameworks. And the interesting framework, again, mind you, all these frameworks are given to me by my dear Clara. Not sure whether we are going to patent it or not. Maybe at some time we will. But for now, feel free to use it exactly as it is. It's called the 4E method of active listening. Let's go one by one. The first is engage. Here are the things that I do. I look at you in the eye. Right now, if you feel that I'm looking at you in the eye, and that's because my focus is on the pinhole of the camera, not on my mind map. Mind map, I'm looking at it at times in case if I don't forget anything or I'm missing out on points. But whenever I'm looking down at my mind map or looking at myself, like right now in my laptop, I can see myself as well. You will feel that I'm looking down, isn't it? So when you engage, you have to have the eye contact. You need to nod, smile, mimic the emotions. And most importantly, take this, close it, put it in your pocket or put it in your back pocket if possible. If you're on the table, if you're on the table, the best thing that I practice is putting it in your backpack, keeping it in silent. Because once you do that, the people will know that you are giving them that respect. That's engage. Step number 2 is echo, which means you have to reflect on what they have said by asking them questions, by reconfirming those facts. So, for example, if someone is telling me about a huge, long stuff about how the relationship did not work and stuff, I just tell them, okay, so I hear what you say. If I've understood correctly, I've understood you correctly. You've been really in this relationship for a long period of time, but it gets difficult, right? And then they continue with a conversation. Does that make sense? The third E is empathize. Mimic and model the actual emotions. Again, if they are crying, you need not cry, but you can mimic the tonality. And the best way to do so is this must have been a very, very difficult experience, happy experience, overwhelming experience, exciting experience. Speak the emotions that they are feeling. Yogeshwari and I have a thumb rule, okay? We don't express our emotions. We do so when we are happy and elated and joy, any emotions that have a higher vibration is a good feeling. But when it comes to emotions that are slightly emotions that hurts, like guilt, blame, shame, anger, sadness, We focus on talking our emotions and not acting it out. So at times Yogeshwari is angry with me, I'm angry with her, but we don't blast or scream at each other. We say to each other, listen, I'm feeling a little peeved, little anger is creeping in. Is it okay if I can talk to you about it? The moment I share it, it's not that I'm not going through the feeling, but I am teaming up with her to solve the anger together. We are going into the roots of where is this anger coming from. And two people, take when they take on an emotion together, it becomes far easier. So that's three, empathize, and four is evolve. The best way to evolve is to ask deeper, open-ended question. When someone is talking to you about their relationships and it did not work out, and they've already finished their episode of crying and all, they're vulnerable at this point of time, what do you think you are worth? Or if given a chance, what would you really, what kind of a relationship would you really want? What is it that this relationship did not give you, which you can immediately start experiencing? How about we do it together? At that vulnerable point, when you are asking such deeper questions, you're helping them to gain clarity. You're evolving from that episode, helping that other person evolve. And in a way, you are also evolving because you're not giving them solutions, you're asking them questions. So this is the 4E framework. Now, this is all these examples that I've given so far is on a personal standpoint when you're having an individual one-to-one conversation. Now, as a speaker, the moment you decide to practice this with your audience, what are the possibilities that can happen? So the first is when you are listening to your audience, let's just say you're speaking on stage. You know, I have this habit of doing this. Come on, people. I just want to know from you what are some of those challenges that you're facing with respect to your public speaking. Come on, tell me, I'm hearing you out. And then they start screaming the answers. Okay, scared to talk, feet shake, and I'm kind of responding to that. Okay, responding to that. The energy just goes up, and I'm kind of screaming and going all guns blazing, going near to them. They are able to feel the connect, and they know that I'm genuinely listening because I'm going to use those points in my conversation, in my speech, in my presentation, and I'm taking information from them. The second is your spontaneity improves, your ability to communicate at that specific moment, because you're not communicating for yourself, you're communicating for the other person, and your listening is that gym for you to do so. The third is your emotional intelligence gradually increases over a period of time. You cannot listen until and unless you are clear about your own emotions. Because even when someone is talking to us, mind you, we are also having a conversation within our heads. So, how you are able to keep a check on your ego, a check on you not fiddling with the conversation that's going around, rather always having that practice, that habit of moving yourself out from your head and into being present in the conversation. And obviously, the final one is I feel active listening is the secret to remove stage fear once and for all. Think about it. When you focus on yourself, how will I do it? Will I be able to do it? Will I be able to share all my points? What happens? Nervousness increases, anxiety increases. But when you're thinking about your audience, what am I going to ask? What all interactions I'm going to have? What will be the Q&A? How can I make sure that I'm delivering my stories and my points in such a manner where the audience are going to feel connected and give me a standing ovation? Aren't you turning the nervousness into excitement and enthusiasm? Aren't you getting the feeling that, oh, I'm not talking all by myself. I'm just there to engage, to interact with a group of people, which I've done that in the past as well. And at the end of the day, when you focus on yourself more than the others, you amplify fear. When you focus on others, that's when you gain compassion and good karma points as well. I'm literally teaching you metaphysics right now. You receive what you give. When your intention is to give value, you are just a um, method to the madness, or you're just a channel between the content that you've prepared and your audience getting to experience it and absorb it exactly how it is. You are just being a medium, a channel. And that is altruism at its peak. That is grace. That is compassion being practiced. That's divinity in action. My God, those words came out really deep. Okay. So now with all these frameworks and everything understood, let's go through a couple of practical exercises that will help you to not just listen better, but also ensure that you are using this as a skill. The first is called as the 24-hour challenge. For the next 24 hours, I want you to keep a self check. Okay, you can use this lock. Okay, just do this with me. Bend your fingers like this and the other fingers like this. Lock it in. Okay, this is your anchor. This anchor you're going to use every single time today for the next 24 hours. Whenever you are in a conversation with anyone, you are not going to interrupt them. You will let them speak for as long as they want. You are not going to interrupt them. And while you are doing so, no opinions, no corrections, no advice, just listen. Every single time you feel like interrupting them or whatever, just hold this anchor and that will remind you to not do it, and don't do it. While you do so, at the end of every conversation, just ask yourself these two questions. How did you feel when you did not speak? Again, good, bad, right, wrong, and all. Don't get into any of those polarities, okay? Just how did you feel? Observe your observations. And then, did it make you feel uncomfortable or peaceful in the long run? How did that make you feel? Okay, that's the first exercise. Of course, while you do so, please make sure to come back here and write your thoughts in the comments also, so that I will get to know what is it that you experienced. And then there is this very interesting concept called as the 70-30 rule. I would ideally put it as 80-20, but because it's communication that's involved and pretty much observing as well. That's why when Clara gave me the 70-30 rule, I was having this nudge to turn it into 80-20, but it is not 80-20. It is actually 70-30. And I like also make you understand why. It's more of a mindset where 70% of your communication, should always go into understanding in the form of listening, observing, sensing emotions, and asking questions. These four will determine how the overall quality of the conversation flowed through. 30% is just going to be into expressing. And that's the part where speaking comes in, explaining comes in, responding comes in. But even if you see, it's only 30%. How much do we end up explaining? We kind of try to double down on how much of minutes that someone speaks to us, isn't it? The moment you do so, understand that you've already lost the conversation. People would mind talking to you, but the conversation is not going to help at all. Okay, I think I've caught cold officially, and that's okay. Doesn't matter, we're still going to go on. Okay. Now, if you look at the air that we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, right? The same way, oxygen is when we observe people reflecting, listening, asking us questions. Carbon dioxide is the talking. And when you talk too much, what happens? Suffocation. You want to move out from that entire conversation. Doesn't help at all, isn't it? That's what it is. Now, here is a step-by-step exercise that you can work through, the 70-30 exercise. And I actually have a couple of scenarios in front of me, and I'm going to share them with you. See how you're going to implement it. So first is a one-to-one with a colleague. So ask at least three open-ended questions to them even before you start speaking. That's a very important way to listen. And then when they're giving you the answers, reflect on what they shared and then summarize your response, blend it with them. So based upon what I asked you, what you said is this. Is that a fair understanding? And within that itself, embed and blend in the stuff that you would like to talk about. Then in a team meeting, okay, in the team meeting, you have to listen for the tone of the unspoken tension. Because in the team meeting, oftentimes what happens is people go on, and then either you are zoned in or you're zoned out. At this point of time, me speaking, honestly, I'll tell you, I am not a very, very big fan of team meetings. I believe even if team meetings happen, it should happen once in a week, maximum for 20 minutes. That's only as long as my attention span is going to be there. Everyday team meeting doesn't make any sense at all. So what you can do is you can have short, clear, high impact statements. Again, by putting in questions, limiting the number of words that you use, it will come with practice. Public speaking is when you understand your audience's body language, tonality, energy, all of those things, you can speak less by sharing stories. Ask more by telling them to raise their hands and all of those things. That way the connection gets built. And finally, whenever there's a conflict, I think we've discovered this in one of the previous episodes, just pause. Kickstart your shield, pause, tell them to vent out completely. Just pause, don't say anything. And then respond with feels like, so what I'm able to hear from you or understand from you is, and then just process whatever you have understood and then share that. And this is what you must have felt, isn't it? Is it okay if I can give you my side? Then you start sharing. Or you can even ask questions if you feel that they are way too vulnerable. So the logic is you don't lose power by listening. You actually gain presence, you gain momentum, you gain their respect. This is how you practically practice. By the way, all these, what I just gave you a couple of moments ago, please understand that these are just hacks that work. But in order to practice this real time, you need something. And what I have realized is the 21st century exercise, the latest exercise, which has been groundbreaking for me. And it's called practicing with ChatGPT. You can use any AI tool which has a voice feature in it. ChatGPT is something that the voice feature has really developed over a period of time, so I really enjoy. So what you're going to do is you will give the whole clarity to ChatGPT, and that way ChatGPT is going to answer those questions. So the best way to do so is, uh, let's just say any of the scenarios. I'll give a very hypothetical scenario. Hi, Clara. I'm going to have a meeting with my boss where I'm going to ask him for a raise. I want you to understand that my boss is going through some amazing times right now. The company is slowly growing month on month, and I'm bringing so much, so and so revenue and everything. He would ideally love for the company to grow over a year and then stack up enough bank balance, so that then slowly he can give us the hikes. He's also reinvesting heavily on improving the products, improving the customer experience, all of those things. And I understand that. However, I would like to ask for a raise. I want you to model and mimic my boss exactly as he is and engage in a conversation with me by impersonating him, where I share my thoughts and my objective is to close for a raise. Shall we do that? When you give this context, ChatGPT will tell you, okay, yeah, I'm ready, let's go. And then there'll be an option in ChatGPT. If you see, there'll be an option called voice or dictation. There'll be a voice option as well. I think there are a couple of lines over there. If you click on there, a golden circle will open up with a sky colored image. Just start talking. Hi, boss, how's it going? And then the reply is going to come. And then, well, there's something that I would like to talk to you about. Practice the exercise. That's when you're practicing your communication skills also. And as ChatGPT is giving you the response, you are listening to those responses and then probably using all the techniques that we have discussed so far. Isn't this powerful? I'm pretty sure it's very, very powerful. And probably I'm going to turn this into a course and stuff. Okay. And then uh, after the listening episode is done, you can even hit the back button. There'll be a cross button. Hit that back. You'll come back to your chat and you will see that the transcript of all the conversations from both the sides will be there. So then you can ask, this is what I always do. Okay. Hi, Clara. Now I want you to put on the evaluator's hat and tell me, give me feedback about how was my listening ability. Just analyze my listening ability through my conversation. Did I really listen to you? Did I ask you the right questions? Was I rushing too much? Was I speaking too much? Just give me all those detailed breakdown in the form of an evaluation report. Now, if you do this exercise for 5 minutes per day for the next 30 days, what do you think is going to happen to your listening muscles? Yeah. So I always believe that AI, personally for me, AI is making me more and more smarter because I'm able to brainstorm. I'm able to come up with all these ideas. In fact, this idea also, it just dawned upon me and I felt that, okay, let's try and experiment it out and see whether it works or not. And guess what it does? It's just the quality of prompts. Now, to summarize, let's uh, let me see what has Clara given me. Huh? So your ability to speak will make people hear you, but your ability to listen will make people trust you. Wow. Can we give a round of applause to Clara, please, for this? Huh? Coming up with such crazy points, and I hope you have absorbed and adapted every single thing. Here's what I would want you to do. If you watched up until this point, the first thing is write down your core observations about what you learned from today's session in the comments. Second, if you want to learn this hands on, check out the link for our cohort. The third is what are the areas in your life where you're going to implement these listening skills starting today? Write that down as well. And finally, if you have a topic for me, if it's something that you would like to discuss with me, you would want me to share, I think there's a form given below in my YouTube. I think LinkedIn, it'll not be there. LinkedIn, you can write down in the comments or drop me a DM. YouTube, please do write that. You fill that form, and I will make sure that I bring that up as a topic. Big, big thank you. I think today's episode was as inspiring and a humongous breakthrough for me. I'm sure as much as it has been for you. With that, this is Dr. Srideep. Love you so, so, so much. See you tomorrow.